We're standing by the grave of Frederick Hoare, a 6-month-old child who met a very sorry end. Frederick was the victim of a murder, and here we have his head and his torso. Unfortunately, we don't have his arms and legs. His mother Elizabeth was living at 37 Rendell Street with her 3 children. After about 10 days, the youngest child, Frederick, was noticed to be missing. Police made inquiries. Elizabeth said that she sent him to her mother's house in Cornwall. On the morning of the 16th of April, John Boyce found a package at the rear of 32 Adelaide Lane in Stonehouse, and on opening the package found the body of a child. There was no head or arms or legs, just the torso. Just 24 hours later, another Plymouth man found the head of the child beneath the Hoe, near to the ladies' bathing place. On the evening of the 15th of April, Elizabeth was seen coming from the direction of where the trunk of the child was subsequently found. The mother was arrested and put on trial. The defence reasoned that Hoare could not have murdered the child without having left excessive blood where it died. The prosecuting, on the other hand, argued that there would have been minimal traces of blood if she had slit its throat over a pan. Well, the jury took an hour to deliberate and astonishingly returned a verdict of not guilty. The justice at the time was so shocked at the verdict that after deliberately surveying the jury for a whole minute, contemptuously said, "You may go." I'm just coming up to the grave of Gertrude Robinson, who is buried just here. The head of her grave is actually this tree here. So Gertrude was buried here in 1876, having been murdered by her father, who was a wood and coal merchant living in Devonport. Having murdered Gertrude, the father William had intended to then murder his other 2 children, but he was so overcome with the first murder, he decided to give himself up and walked into Devonport police station to tell them that he had murdered his daughter. The constable initially thought he was under the influence of drink, but after questioning him, Robinson did tell him that he had murdered his daughter to save her from the worry for which he himself had been subjected. He asked his servant Emily to dress his daughter, as he was going to take her along with her brother to the school where he cleaned. A short while later, his wife sent Emily to look for Gertrude. When Emily arrived at the school, the doors were locked, but she saw the little girl's cloak on a desk. She managed to get in through an open window and found the little girl lying dead on the floor. Robinson had sent his son to fetch tobacco while he did the deed and was then intending to cut his son's throat afterwards. He locked up the room, went drinking in 2 public houses and then gave himself up at the police station. At the trial, the jury found him not guilty of murder on the grounds of insanity, and the judge sentenced him to remain in custody at Her Majesty's pleasure.